Okay, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is the final lesson on Arab, and I just want to cover off two more. They're quite easy. Let me cover the easiest one, which is something called mabni. Mabni, one way to think of it is it's a word that's very stubborn, right? And in other words, it doesn't change in any of the states. So, for example, you have hada, which is what's called ismi ishara, right? We call it ismi ishara. Which basically means this. So hada kitabun, this is a book. Now in all three states, whether it's majroor, whether it's mansoob, whether it's marfu, it will always remain the same. Hada. So that's called mabni, right? So whenever we say something is mabni, this is what we mean. Okay, so that's quite a straightforward one. The final one for us to cover is what's called ghair munsarifin or ghayru munsarifin. Munsarifin. And I want to cover that as well. Basically, it's a word which does not have a tanween. It does not have a tanween. Nor does it have a kasra. So I'm going to put here as well, no a kasra. Okay. Let me just go back. No a kasra. Okay. It's a word that has neither a tanween, no tanween, or neither does it have a kasra. And usually it comes when it comes to names. And this is something you just have to learn through the vocab. So for example, you have the word Ibrahim. Ibrahimu. Okay, it will be Ibrahimu. Or like some like a feminine name like Aminatu. Yeah, Aminatu. That's a ghair munsarif. It doesn't have, it's not Aminatun, it's not Ibrahimun, even though there's no alif lam on it, right? It'd be Ibrahimu, Aminatu. Okay, and there's other words like Ahmadu, for example, or Umaru, yeah, or Usmanu, right? So these don't have tanween, as you can see, nor do they have a kasra. Important to bear that in mind. Okay, and this can also apply to plurals. And so certain broken plurals, for example, you have the word anbiya, right? Anbiya, prophets. That would be anbiya'u, yeah, or ulama'u, yeah, ulama'u, or ashya'u, or madarisu, and qaratisu. These are words that will be ghair munsarif. In other words, they will have neither tanween nor a kasra. And it can also apply to adjectives. So for example, the word for color red is ahmaru. So it'd be ahmaru, yeah. Or it can also be, another adjective is angry, anger. So that would be ghadbanu. Can you see? So this is something to bear in mind, that they don't have a tanween, nor do they have a kasra. And the rule for them is very, very straightforward. And I'll just do an aside here for you in different color. Okay, now when it's when it's marfu, when it's marfu it will be dhamma. Yeah, it will be dhamma. So Ibrahimu here, can you see Ibrahimu, or anbiya'u, right? So when it's marfu, it'll be dhamma. And when it's the other two, that is majroor or mansoob. Remember we said you can't have a kasra, so it must be mansoob, right? It must have a fatah. It must be dhamma. Then it will be Ibrahima, right? So it will be Ibrahima here instead, or ulam anbiya'a, right? So all you have to remember is ghair munsarif does not have a tanween, neither does it have a kasra. When it's marfu, it'll be dhamma as per usual, and when it's majroor or mansoob, it will be fatha, right? And you'll find examples of this in the Quran. This is just a short video to go through mabni and ghair munsarifin. This is Arab covered now. So these are all the Arabs covered, and maybe in the next video, if you have time, I'll go through some more examples for you. Until then, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.